So staff nurse or travel nurse, which one makes more money? And someone was asking me, someone sent me a message and they're asking which one. And I'm like, yeah, it depends. Yeah, the travel nurse is always going to be making a lot of money, but with the staff nursing, there are a lot of benefits. So would you make more as a staff nurse or should you do travel nursing? It depends on your decision. And it depends on what you're looking for. It's a big decision because it's not about only the hourly rate, it's about benefits, bonus, lifestyle. So we're just going to talk a little bit about it so you can have a better understand, because I know a lot of persons might go for traveling, but then you might be losing out a lot on benefits, and then a lot of persons might go for staffing, and then you're thinking about, oh, I'm missing out a lot on, all the ton of monies that persons are bringing home. If you're new here, my name is Stacey, and I just want to say welcome to the Think Nursing page. We talk a lot about nursing over this side. We can talk about the stress, the pay, the schedule, and everything in between. So definitely subscribe to the page here for more content. And so today we're going to be comparing the staff nurse, the travel nurse pay to see which one actually is a little bit better for you financially. And it depends, you understand? It depends on what you're looking for, because some persons, as I say, if you want to live a certain lifestyle, then definitely some persons will tell you go for the traveling, because you get a chance to travel and enjoy certain luxury as it relates to the travel nurse. So let's just look at the staff nurses, because when they talk about base rate, it is a standard hourly rate, and usually anywhere between like $30 to $40 for new grads, depending on your location. And you have to take into consideration your shift differentials. And we talk about like your night shift, your weekend shifts, and you talk about bonuses. And this is where the staff nurses boost their income with those differentials. Full-time staff nurses also get benefits. So you talk about your health insurance, paid time off, or your PTOs. You also get retirement contributions or pension plans. You also have tuition reimbursement and other little, things that you can get. So even if the base rate isn't huge, the benefits is what makes it a little bit better. And so sometimes, people will look at that and be like, oh, that makes more. And then years of experience is another thing. So depending on your years of experience and where you get onto that classification, you might be surprised at how much you might be making as a staff nurse. So take that into consideration. But when you think of the travel nurses, though, usually they're paid higher hourly rate, sometimes $45, $70, depending on the location and the specialty. But they get like your tax-free stipends for housing, meals, and traveling. The contracts are usually like 13 weeks, sometimes like 8 weeks, 26 weeks, and the benefits usually are offered. They depend on the agency, so you don't usually get like retirement, but you do get certain benefits. So travel nurses can make a lot more money per hour, but there are trade-offs when it comes on to that. So you just have to look at the contract and make sure that you're comfortable with what you're signing, because sometimes the health insurance, you might end up spending a little bit more for health insurance and some other things. The staff nursing, the pros of it, you think about, consistent paycheck. You're always getting that. The benefits, you have the insurance, retirement, PTO, the overtime, it can boost your pay significantly. It's stable. Your pay is a little bit more predictable. The cons with it is that your pay growth, it can be a little bit slower unless you pick up overtime and you move to another unit that pays more money. For the pros with the travel nursing, is that financially, definitely, there is gonna be more money coming in. You understand? And so you might be happier with your pay each time because your hourly rate is higher. You have tax-free stipends, which can be big, especially when you look at getting $5,000, per month just for housing or food. The bonuses for signing and completing contracts. You can move to high-paying states temporarily, like California. You have New York, Hawaii. Yes, but then you have to think about what? You have to think about cost of living as well. So the cons to that is that there's no guaranteed schedule beyond the contract, moving costs, less stability. There's just so many other things that you have to take into consideration. One thing I'd have to say regarding that, though, you have to be very, very flexible. All right, you have to be very, very flexible. And as long as you're flexible, you're a multitasker, you should be fine with being a travel nurse. So the staff nurse, $35 per hour, you get overtime, differential benefits are there. Travel nurse, you get $50 per hour. You have your monthly stipends, and it's not so bad. Look at travel nursing versus staffing. Money is not everything. Travel nursing, you move every few months. You might not get a permanent home. You may have unpredictable schedules. at few facilities, and that's just it. Some persons don't like that. With staff nursing now, it might be less pay per hour. It's more predictable lifestyle. The stability and the benefits, you can't ignore that. You cannot ignore that because it's just a little bit better. And so some persons might just settle for that because of the stability that they have with it. Short-term high pay, travel nurse wins. Long-term stability, retirement benefits, staff nurse wins. So if you combine travel contracts with smart saving, you can actually maximize your earning even a little bit more. So it's all about your lifestyle, your risk tolerance and your financial goals at the end of the day. So from there, as long as you look at those and then you weigh the benefits, then you should be able to decide which one. So as I say, which one is better for you? It depends on you as a nurse, because the travel nurses can make a lot more money in a shorter time period. The travel nurses have to just work a little bit longer, but you get more benefits, stability, and predictable income. So there's no one size that fits all. And so the answer that you picked is going to be aligning with your life and your wallet. So, I just hope that this video does help with answering your question. Go ahead and just leave your comment down in the box below, and remember to subscribe to the Think Nursing page where it's all about nursing. And let me know, would you choose something that is a little bit more stable as a staff nurse or more adventurous and higher pay as a travel nurse? Money is important, but at the same time, you need to have better life balance as well. So let me know in the comment box, which one would you choose? All right. Until then, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.